It's about distance, but it's also about accuracy. And the accuracy is the part that saves your fucking life. And having great commercials where, I made ice cubes bounce into drum heads and then into glasses. Accuracy is a real problem, especially for something as, non-uniform as a human body. So I thought that it was totally impossible, and that we would likely die if we tried it in this kind of setup, even if we'd sent Buster before us. And so the innovation I came up with was that we should do it on a lake. We should find a lake, and we'd actually used this lake. That's just a beauty shot of my Land Cruiser. We found this lake, which is an old quarry lake, Pit 232 up in Ione, California. It's a private property. It's a quarry lake, which is, they dug out of the ground, and when they dug out of the ground, the acidity of where they dug made this pool just slightly acidic so that nothing's living in it, which means you can blow shit up in it all day long. So the episode that we aired recently, Dive to Survive, was filmed in this lake, and luckily over here on the right is about a 25-degree angle, and it was perfect for the water slide. It was about the steepest slope we could find. It went into the lake. We had access all around. And we started trying to replicate the various pieces of this thing. This is looking from the top of the hill, looking down towards the lake. In fact, this is actually a road running across the middle. We had to grab a whole bunch of dirt and fill with, I think, about 40 to 100 cubic yards of dirt to actually fill in that part of the roadbed to make a nice flat spot. And actually, there's nothing... Every now and then, Jamie gets a handle on something that's really thrilling for him. And in this case, it was a bobcat earth mover. And he just spent 2 days just slowly pushing dirt. And then once he had enough, he just rode up and down, flattening it out, up and down. There's all this camera footage of him going, oh. And then we had enough dirt laid out. And we started laying out the plywood. This is all chipboard. We wanted to, Jamie kept on arguing that we should just flatten out the dirt, but I'm thinking, we're going to hit 30 miles an hour, according to our math at the bottom. We might want it to be nice and uniform, and if we hit a little stone, it was going to hurt. So we started laying out plywood, and actually this is another innovation. I'm building the ramp down at the bottom. Jamie has a bunch of guys and a couple hundred sheets of chipboard at the top, and he's actually screwing them together, lapping them together up on top, and then feeding them down like this long plywood tongue, just rolling them down the hill, being pushed by the bobcat. And eventually we meet in the middle like the Transcontinental Railroad, and I secure his wooden slide to my wooden ramp, and we get ready to start laying out. Let's see what we got here. There's me sitting at the top at the end of the first day. And we're looking down and going, dude, that is, wow, that's fucked up. This is some kind of farming bolster filled with hay. And the YouTube video does not have any borders on the ramp. And again, we had to change that. We wanted some guidance on the way down. We didn't want to trust just to Providence that we would make it all the way to the bottom, and it just looked like starting to roll down that hill at 30 miles an hour would be really unpleasant. So then we also laid down some carpet, some inexpensive carpet to also further soften the load. And there's the carpet at the end of the day, my shadow and my hat. And this is what it looks like from the boat we were in. I love the fact that even that big, you can totally tell that that's Jamie standing at the top. like an Egyptian slave master. Looking over, I kept trying to hand him a cat of nine tails during the shoot. Then we coated it with a 200 feet of lacquered vinyl. This is actually what they use in industrial water slides, and at this point the thing was pretty frickin' slippery. And we kind of slid down it on our stomachs, just really slowly, feeling out for any burrs, any screws, anything proud that would hurt us on the way down. But pretty much, there, that's me at the top, looking down the ramp once it's ready. I'm wearing a 3.2 mil wetsuit, and on top of the wetsuit, I'm wearing latex coveralls, like it's fetish wear, effectively. The only place you could buy this sort of thing, and they cost a fortune, like $350, is from Mr. S. Leather's fetish store in San Francisco. And you'll notice it's got a zipper that starts here and goes all the way down here and comes all the way back up here for access to the cock and balls for sex, as the salesman explained it to me. Which is why, he explained, most people buy these. As if I'm the perv who wanted to slide on a water slide. Or like I'm wasting somebody else's latex opportunity watching a television. So we didn't want to go from the top right away. And the only way the insurance company was going to buy off on this was if we incrementally went a little bit more each time just to see if it was safe. I mean, we didn't know. From the top, we might fly 300 feet through the air and like break our back landing in the water wrong. So we wanted to sort of creep up on this. Here's launch number 1 from, the ramp itself was about 190 feet long. This is about 90 feet up, just about halfway. Nightmare except for mine. And they all were like freaking out. Are you okay? I'm like, I'm okay. It's totally cool. Let's go again. We also didn't have a method for getting onto the ramp. Later on, Jamie came up with the idea of stringing a rope down from the top so you just hold on to it and let yourself go. Until then, I was literally pouring a little soapy water and then leaping on and trying to stay on all the way down. Not the best methodology, which is shown by the next jump, where I went a little bit higher, and then we were having a lot of arguments back and forth about how much soapy water to use. In the video, they dumped 2 full 5-gallon buckets of water on the ramp and slide down. So I wanted to give a working try. I thought this would be the best way to do it. So I dumped a little water on the ramp. There's me about halfway up. I'm actually spraying myself down with soapy water just to get the extra slick factor. And I pour the water on, and then I jump on, and I start to slide down. Everything's going well for a while until I part my legs and soapy water begins to shoot. You can see it hasn't bounced out here. This is just water, and it's shooting through my legs and into my face and my mouth. I can't see a thing. It's really unpleasant, and I come off not so well. I land on my ass, it hurts. And I'll tell you about landing in the water. I flew about 40 feet at this point. Landing in the water from 40 feet away, it's a shock, and it's an instant headache. It's like you come out of the water and immediately you feel like you're hungover, like a really bad hangover. Here's another view of that very jump. This is my new favorite toy. It's about the size of a pack of cigarettes. It records HD for like 5 hours, and it comes in a waterproof case, and they're about $350. They are awesome. We've got, I think, 4 of them now. I have one problem with the thing. It's waterproof, and yet it doesn't fucking float. I don't know how the amount of mass you need to add to make it floatable is just tiny. How did that happen? So, and you'll see later, I'll show you a little footage of Jamie jumping, and the camera came off his head, filmed him, and then filmed blue, and then you can see the ground coming, and then it goes to black, and then if you watch the whole thing, which I did, you can hear Don, our shop general, in scuba gear coming to get it. And the anticipation is, you're like, oh, come on, Don, find it! Then you see it pick up, and you see Don's armpit. Swims to the surface, comes out of the water, hands it to Willie. Willie's like, oh, you found it, dude! Here's another view of the same jump.